Hi there. The other day, I was explaining, perhaps even apologising to a client about the fact that my life over the last year has been a bit messy. When they brought me up by saying, messy's okay, it makes me feel like I can be messy too. You know, a lot of counsellors who are starting out worry about whether they have got it all together and whether they can be professional enough and do the right thing by their clients. And that is a good thing because proper training and good boundaries and ethical practice are all super important when you're trying to help vulnerable people. But you know, Carl Rogers, the pioneer of person-centered therapy, is actually famous for insisting that the therapeutic relationship has got to be more than this. Yes, we need empathy and respect. Yes, we need boundaries to protect therapists from getting over-involved with their clients. But sometimes this can get in the way of a real person-to-person connection. Sometimes it results in actually being under-involved. Person-centered theory holds that the therapist's function is to be present and accessible to clients and to focus on their immediate experience, which means that in order to connect, the therapist must be willing to be real in their relationship with the clients. Does that mean that it's okay for the therapist to let it all hang out? What level of personal disclosure is actually appropriate or helpful? I once sent one of my teenage kids to see a therapist, and I knew that it had gone badly wrong when she came back knowing more about the therapist than she'd actually disclosed about herself. We are supposed to be holding the space for the client, not for ourselves. But I have to admit that I feel insecure for myself when I've no idea how this person in front of me is coping, whether it's a friend or psychologist or pastor, how they're coping with what I'm saying, what are they thinking about it. I need real to feel safe. So I guess I understand how my clients might need to appreciate that, the fact that I'm a real person too. One of the things that I've been doing a lot on the current COVID lockdown is connecting with other professionals in various online support groups. And I've been amazed that many of them, psychologists in South Africa, counsellors and coaches in UK, are all stuck on the same idea. How do you support someone when you're going through exactly the same kind of stress yourself? Counsellors and therapists are trying to be a safe space for those who are anxious about jobs and finances and family and friends, for people who've suffered loss of significant people or relationships or freedom, while they're actually going through the same anxiety and losses themselves. We were all taught that good therapy is premised on the idea that you set aside your own worries and troubles to be fully present and engaged with the person in front of you. So what if they're triggering all your own problems and needs? It's messy. Maybe it's a problem to be aware of, but maybe it's also signaling a new era where professional detachment is valued less than sheer human warmth and understanding, when the client knows that my empathy is genuine because I'm going through the self-same issues that she is, where I'm not so much an expert as a fellow traveller. And the beauty of the current season is that I don't have to be inappropriately revealing of my personal circumstances, because the client knows that if they're in lockdown, I'm also in lockdown. If their income has been affected, so has mine. If they have experienced anxiety about their health or that of a family member or colleague, it's pretty likely that I've experienced the same thing too. For once in the history of the human race, we are all in the same boat. As one colleague in a network meeting recently commented, it's the first time, probably since the World War, that everyone has been experiencing the same kind of stress together. As a Christian counsellor, it reminds me that we were born for such a time as this. The world is a mess, but Jesus did messy really well. He was born in a stable to a girl who was not yet married. He was born at a messy time in history, in a nation under oppression, like a lockdown, only worse, more like martial law. Jesus said of himself that he came for the sick, not the well. He came for the struggling, not the self-congratulating and self-righteous. He comforted the afflicted, and did a pretty good job of afflicting the comfortable too. The important thing about being messy is to know and acknowledge it, that I don't have to fix myself before I can be of use to anyone else. And I'm certainly not here to fix them. I am here to create a space where, as a colleague said recently, people can speak the unspeakable and bear the unbearable, and not be alone in the process. Because life is messy, even before the pandemic, and more so since everything has become so unpredictable. So I do hope that this encourages you to reach out to someone else today, because if you're a bit ragged around the edges, it's okay, they probably are too. they might appreciate some human connection with someone who's just as conflicted as they are, to feel like they don't need to put up a good front to fit in or feel accepted. This series is about connecting with Jesus and with people, because humans are fundamentally designed for connection. We can survive without it for a season, but we don't thrive. So if this is the first time you're listening, please check in on some of the other videos, and I'd love to hear your feedback. What things are on your heart in this season? What would help you to move from understanding to action? If you'd like to connect on a one-on-one session, that's possible. Please message me. And if you'd like to know more about training opportunities, I'd also love to hear from you. So keep well, keep safe, and remember, messy is okay.